is we all come to join together and fight and say, we want Trump. People are used to that. And so when it was exposed to the America, exposed to the world, they said, oh my goodness. And some people I'm like, wow. Wow. But even though it goes to show you, people that expect other people that look like them to come against them. Now you can have a simple disagreement, but really, I'm trying to tell you, some people don't think this, but they see race. They see race. They see it here in their eyes, and they see it here, up here. And as I said in the previous video, everything, America is definitely a racial pole. And so the people who, with the class and with the money and what is programmed through commercials and TVs, is mostly white. Yeah, there are other people, but it's most, so you want to be up here. You don't want to be down here where they commercialize and make black people either like their dysfunction, and some of us go right into the stereotype, and they paint you down here. And so, and it really bugs some white people when their kids act out and try to act the ways of black people. I have been around white people said this: you act like one of the white ends. I can't stand you act like a white end. What is a white end? When they call a black person the N-word, but they call a white person who act like the N-word too. What? This is what they do. Because maybe they start picking up their swag, picking up their ways, and whatever. Some people don't tell you this. But there's a difference between, but getting back to the black people. And even though that, I understand it's a generation that don't see, because first thing that I didn't see. Because like I said, I was raised in the suburb. I was raised in the city, then I grew up, then I get to the suburb. But when I was walking around, and I had my black friends, and I had my black associates, I had my white associates. But when I get around my white associates, these little innuendo things would come out. They weren't really, I would call a friend. I knew a couple people, and they would make racial jokes about different people, somebody. They mock people, whether they were Jewish, whether they were Spanish. And they feel comfortable in doing that because they're conditioned to say that these are a little less people. There are some people who are conditioned that way. And they don't, sometimes they signify, sometimes it's not so direct. Sometimes they're just saying it as a prank. So now you see a generation, and this is just going from generation to generation. You're seeing kids doing this right now in high school, and they taught some adult taught them this way. So when black people and other people see this, that's why racism can go, because someone will always teach them on what to think about other people who's on the lower half. That's a fact. There are some people, not everybody, but when you go out in them suburbs and different areas, and it's predominantly the opposite of black or other people, somebody among that group gonna have some bias and racism. Guarantee you. It may not be everybody, but it's gonna be somebody that knows somebody that has some bias and some prejudice. How do I know this? Because I've been around it, and that's something. I remember one time I was away at college, and I don't know if I ever told you the story that there was this young lady, and she happened to be white, and we wasn't messing around. We were just friends. She would just come over just to visit me, but it bugged these young white men because this attractive one girl who was white wanted to come over and see me. And I'm like, hey, dude, she already got a boyfriend, but they couldn't stand that I was talking to a top kind of, we was just being friendly. And she was friendly to everybody. She was just, but she basically, we just established a friendship. In fact, I met her boyfriend who was white. This would happen. And so there's animosity, there's a jealousy. Now, there are black women who are attracted to white men. Do some men don't, there's some black men that don't like it. There's some men don't do. But it's a hey, some do, but most of the time, most black men don't care. Because they talk to other different women too. This goes across friendship to relationship to interracial relationships. But there's a segment that's gonna be jealous at you if you're a black man. You go up and that's why I say you be careful. You go into a bar. You're on the out and you cool, but you go into out drinking or something like that, and you go into a predominantly white establishment. Trust me, you're a black male that you're not from the city. You was raised in the suburbs. And so you pick the woman from the suburbs of what you do. But some people, there might be a certain segment of people might kind of ignorant, but if you cross it, go into another little town, they may not look at it. And psychologically, it bothers them. This is real. This is real, and it's uncomfortable, and it's an uncomfortable feeling. But if you're strong enough to get through it, you'll be fine. And and sometimes they're not. They go indirectly. I mean, even though we could be in the 21st century, there are people still from the generation before me, in my generation, and it's a little bit of a generation after me that still harbor these feelings, and they will act it out. Just being truthful with you, man. But I just wanted to make this video to point some things out. That just because you get to a certain area, you get around a certain segment of people, at some form or fashion, you're going to encounter racism. It may not, sometimes it may be direct, sometimes it may be indirect. So if you're a black person that had this kind of mindset, you'll see, you might say, nah, it's the past is the past. All I gotta say is live long enough. All I gotta say to you, you might not agree with this video, but watch. You're gonna see it in some form or fashion. And if you by yourself, you can see in some form or fashion, you go to another state, another town, another area that looks similar to where you grew up in the suburbs. Watch. I know. I'm not saying being bitter, and I'm not saying being angry. I'm not saying, and you're not the kind of person maybe that look at things like that. And that's the thing about some black people don't look at things. Some of us don't think about it, but it's going to be reflected at you in some form or fashion. That's the truth. Whether, stereotype. Somebody can accuse you of something. What are you doing? Question you. Why are you here? Because they feel nervous and they think that you're a black person, you're up to no good. Because they see them, and what caused them to think like that? What they see on TV. Because what their program is. They're not programmed to see, well, I'm from such and such and such and such. When the police officer follow you, the woman that's hugging her purse follow you, she ain't think about that. They ain't think about that. They see melanin. And they see a bunch of black people, whether it's in the city, that triggers something. And they're not the only one. There's other races of people that see it the same way. when you go in their business, someone can go in their business. They see some of you go like this. But I don't want to harp, but I just want to wake my people up and give you some advice. It's going to come in a certain form. It's going to come in a certain code. You ain't going to understand the code because I was once like you. I didn't see the code until later on in life. I saw how prejudice can go from one direction to another direction. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying you got to be bitter and be angry, but be aware and listen to somebody, because no matter what, you live in a country where there's some segment of society gonna look at you for the color of your skin, and it might be a small segment might look at you for who you are, but as an individual, they might see you but as a collective, as someone does as a collective, they see race. In majority, and we're 13%, and maybe out of the 190% of the majority, maybe that 30% might be 80%. The 50% out of the 30%, and they think that we all God's people, we all love fine and dandy. It's that 50% that own the banks, the land, the property, govern the judicial system and everything. It's the 50% that don't like to play fair. It's the 50% that if two men do something the same crime, one will get punished or doing the same crime based on that. It's the 50% when they tell you that, okay, this group of people are not taking care of their medical like this group of people is. So this group of people are more effective at bringing something than this group of people is. And see, it's something that's always, and it's something that's always, and they put stats on it. Because there's someone always striving to division. And the media is the #1 thing to do it. But anyway, I just want to point that out. So I say this to you as an individual. If you want these young individuals period, no matter what age you are, sometimes no matter what race you are,